question that comes up from time to time is architecture art? Or is it a technical exercise like structural engineering? If architecture is an art, then how do you account for buildings like this, which are awkward in design and a poor imitation of a historical style? Well, let's look at that question. I'm Michael Knorr, and this is Architecture Minute. Is architecture art? Well, plenty of famous people seem to think so. Frank Lloyd Wright insisted architecture is the mother art. Goethe compared architecture to the fine art of music, saying, music is liquid architecture and architecture is frozen music. In the 19th century, the poet Longfellow said, to build, that is the noblest art of all the arts. And the Danish architect Arne Jacobsen said, if a building becomes architecture, then it is art. As a definition, I like Jacobsen's quote the best. A building is just a plain old building unless and until it is imbued with certain qualities that make it something special, that make it art. But the road to becoming architecture has many obstacles along the way. A composer can create an artistic product in complete isolation. A painter can work alone in a garret, developing canvases of great originality and beauty. But how does architecture come about? We have the architect, of course, but he or she cannot work in isolation. Architects work for clients, whether a happy couple looking for their dream home or a corporate client looking for a signature skyscraper design. The vision and expectations of a client are a major component of architecture and need to be understood. Usually there are lenders involved and a budget that limits what can be built. Also, limitations are imposed by building codes, not just building codes, which rule the structural and life safety aspects of a building, but plumbing codes, electrical codes, mechanical codes, and so forth. An architect must also observe zoning requirements that determine what can be built where for all building types. And finally, Mother Nature herself imposes limits on what can be built. Architecture must be cognizant of the terrain, vegetation, and climate. With all of these limitations, it almost seems like good architecture is produced against all odds. And maybe that is so. But when the stars align, architecture is the art of synthesizing all of these competing interests to produce something of beauty. So yes, architecture is art, and we can sense that when we experience true architecture.